10 most collectible Honda motorcycles. Honda has given us more iconic motorcycles than any other manufacturer in the last century. In the 1950s, co-founders Soichiro Honda and Takeo Fujisawa started a two-wheeled revolution by offering a fun and unique motorcycle for everyone, attracting swaths of new riders in the process. From the hardy little Honda 50 to the first FireBlade, Honda were masters of giving the public precisely what they wanted, even if it took a bit longer for some models to be appreciated. So, which Hondas are the most desirable today? Let's find out as we count down the 10 most collectible Honda motorcycles of all time. Number 10. Honda Valkyrie GL 1500C, 1997 to 2003. The Honda Valkyrie was the cruiser that blew Harley-Davidson out of the water, converting many in the process. An imposing beast of a motorcycle with an alluring effect, the Valkyrie is a stylish, chrome-clad machine carrying an almighty engine. Honda helped the Valkyrie outshine the traditional V-twin cruisers by offering something truly unique, a classic cruiser powered by a silky smooth 6-cylinder engine that derived from the Golden Wing. After receiving upgrades, the higher lift cams, and 6 carburetors, the Valkyrie sounded better than a Porsche and produced 100 horsepower, which is more than the Golden Wing or any Harley-Davidson of the time. Being less focused on touring than the Golden Wing range, the Valkyrie has less onboard electronics and accessories as standard, and instead prioritizes on giving the rider full immersion with an unimaginable soundtrack, an experience that has helped the Valkyrie grow to a cult-like following. Number 9. Honda Cub C90, 1958 to 2002. The Cub was the bike that started it all for Honda in the United States. Simple, affordable, and capable of taking brave riders anywhere, albeit at a snail's pace, it clearly didn't matter, as the Cub became the best-selling vehicle of all time with over 100 million sold. For outright riding pleasure, the Cub wasn't the best contender. It wasn't known for being quick, handling well, or for offering much in the way of equipment. Regardless, few bikes were as fun and frivolous to ride. The Honda Cub came in several forms. The smallest was dubbed the Nifty 50, but the C90 was the most powerful aside from the S90 and the most practical. Squeezing 8 horsepower out of an 85cc 4-stroke, even topping 50 miles per hour was a challenge. The Cub was by no means perfect. The frame was especially prone to rust, which is probably why early models in great condition are highly desirable. Number 8. Honda XR-V 650 Africa Twin, 1988 to 1989. The XR-V 650 was the original Africa Twin, a rally replica for the streets from a time when off-road motorcycle racing was big business. In the 1980s, the race every manufacturer wanted to win was the coveted Paris-Dakar Rally. Honda's answer was the NXR 750, a V-twin trailblazer that could withstand the brunt of the Sahara's unforgiving terrain at over 100 miles per hour. The NXR was so effective it dominated the event 4 times in a row and fueled global interest in dual-purpose motorcycles. And so, the XR-V 650 was born, a tri-colored endurance machine that appeared to have come straight from the races. Each detail from the headlight grille to the underslung stainless exhaust paid homage to the desert icon, and the Africa Twin became an instant sensation. Number 7. Honda CB77 Superhawk, 1961 to 1986. The Honda CB77, or Superhawk as it was also known, was one of Honda's first groundbreaking motorcycles that welcomed features such as telescopic forks and overhead cams from Honda's race-winning bikes to mark the birth of the first Japanese sport bike as we know it today. When the CB77 landed in 1961, its 305cc straight-twin engine and dual Cayenne carburetors reinvented the feeling of speed with a 9,000 RPM redline that could help riders top the 100 mph mark, outperforming its British rivals with larger displacement engines. The rev-happy Honda was a breath of fresh air alongside the lethargic, low-revving European bikes and became a hit thanks to a lower price tag and better reliability. Other features that contributed to the Superhawk's success included a tubular steel frame that incorporated the engine as a stress member, an electric starter, and 12-volt electronics. Today, the Superhawk is a timeless piece of motorcycling history. Number 6. CBX 1000, 1978 to 1982. The Honda CBX 1000 was a state-of-the-art superbike of the late 1970s that should have succeeded but failed to hit the mark. Suzuki, Yamaha, and Kawasaki all produced capable inline 4s at the time, and with Honda aiming to recreate the hysteria of the Superhawk's arrival, they dared to be different and added 2 more cylinders, creating their first 6-cylinder production motorcycle. The CBX's engine was an engineering marvel and a sight to behold. It was also the only truly remarkable aspect of their motorcycle. Featuring 24 valves, dual overhead cams, and 6 carburetors, It produced a healthy 100 horsepower at the crank and could hover around 140 miles per hour, a feat previously unheard of. Honda expected the CBX 1000 with its glorious engine often linked to a Formula 1 race car to attract buyers and hordes, but the timing was poor. The CBX was overshadowed the following year by the CB900F, but remains to this day as one of Honda's landmark models. Number 5. Honda CB754, 1969 to 1978. Back in the 1960s, when the likes of Triumph and Harley-Davidson were racing with twin-cylinder machines, Honda knew they needed to develop a competitor that brought something new to the table. Drawing on expertise they had gained from racing with 4 cylinders in the past, Honda knew that by increasing the number of cylinders, they could improve power output, efficiency, and smoothness, and compete with its rivals of similar engine size. Honda emerged with a bike that had greater functionality and performance than its competitors at a more affordable price. The CB750 was the talk of the town because no other motorcycle offered features like a front disc brake, kill switch, dual mirrors, or an electric starter at such great value. The CB750 popularized the inline-4 layout and is widely regarded as the first true sport bike, with the rest of the manufacturers eventually following in their wake. The CB750 offered thrills and excitement like no other, boasting 67 horsepower and brakes that didn't fade when the rider put the CB750 through its paces. Number 4. Honda VTR 1000 SP2 RC51, 2000 to 2007. Not to be confused with the VTR 1000 Superhawk, Firestorm in Europe, the Honda SP1 is an important part of Honda's history. From 1994 to 1999, Ducati won 5 out of 6 world championships, with Honda's V4-powered RC45 only able to secure 1. The dominance of the Ducati 916 and 996 urged Honda to build a V-twin superbike of their own that could end Ducati's winning streak. They returned in 2000 with the SP1, and Colin Edwards rode the Castrol Honda to clinch the title from Ducati, only to lose them again a year later. The SP1 symbolizes Honda's triumph over Ducati. The SP1 was a road-going homologation that was fantastically well-equipped. However, it was marred by a fuel-injected issue that caused throttle response to be erratic over lower speeds. When the SP2 arrived, everyone sighed. Honda had pulled off the unthinkable and not only smoothed out the glitchy fuel injection issues, but also treated the SP2 to HRC-approved upgrades that made it a superior bike to ride and a no-brainer to own over the SP1. Number 3. Honda CBR 954RR FireBlade, 2002 to 2003. When the first generation Honda FireBlade was released in 1992, it filled a gap between 750cc and 1000cc machines and finally gave riders the cornering confidence that the slow-turning heavyweights of the 1980s failed to deliver. The idea was to slot a 900cc inline-4 into a frame intended for a 750, and the result was a fast, flickable superbike with an ample power to upset 1000cc riders at a comparable height to a 600cc superbike. New incarnations arrived every 2 years, each time improving the FireBlade's handling, power, and ergonomics. The 6th and final generation under the leadership of legendary Honda engineer Tadao Baba came in 2002 with the CBR 954RR. Revamped with a new engine, inverted forks, and a 17-inch front wheel and more, the 6th generation FireBlade is still treasured as one of the all-time best handling bikes, with even Baba-san naming the 954 the best FireBlade to date. Number 2. Honda NR750, 1992. On the back of Honda's stellar performance in motorcycle racing in the 1980s, they took the back seat only to return to 2 strokes, leading the 500cc class over the 4 strokes with ease. Instead of designing their own 2-stroke, Honda began work on an unusual V4 engine that featured oval pistons, 2 conrods per piston, and 8 valves per cylinder. In 1979, the NR50 went toe-to-toe with the 2 strokes on the racetrack, but rarely did this convert to wins, with the NR still over 40 pounds heavier than the unbeatable 2-strokes. In 1987, Honda returned with the technologically superior NR750R, only for its radical oval piston technology to be banned by regulating bodies. Honda ordered 300 road-going models to be made that featured slight changes over the 1987 endurance racer. Honda named it the NR and charged a staggering $50,000 to own the majestic superbike that was always a collector's item. Nowadays, the NR can easily sell for double its original asking price. Number 1. Honda VFR 750R RC30, 1987 to 1990. The Honda VFR 750R was a homologation superbike built to let Honda compete in the newly formed Superbike World Championship in 1988. Honda's racing division, HRC, spared no expense when selecting the brakes, suspension, and other components that would result in the perfect formula. Developments included aircraft-grade metals that were seldom seen on motorbikes at the time, and as a result, the VFR's cornering and braking ability was like nothing seen before. Powering the VFR was a liquid-cooled 90-degree V4 that featured alloy pistons, titanium conrods, and a slipper clutch, producing 118 horsepower at 11,000 RPM. The VFR 750R was an unstoppable force from the outset, securing Superbike World titles in 1988 and 1989, as well as taking victory at iconic races like the Isle of Man TT and the Macau Grand Prix. The same skilled hands from HRC that built the title-winning RC30s handmade the 3000 production models with race-level precision. In 1990, the VFR went on sale in the US for $15,000, almost double the price of its opposition. But it didn't matter. An eager race enthusiast rushed to get their hands on a race-ready motorcycle that could be ridden home. The VFR 750R has become more collectible in many ways than the NR 750, because it carved its own place in motorsport history, changing motorcycle racing forever, and in the process becoming the most successful Japanese 4-cylinder superbike of all time. What are your thoughts on our list? Tell us which iconic Honda you choose for your collection.